It is the Drake Toll Show on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Drake Toll with you from the Savannah Bananas organization, locked on Big 12 and right here on Westwood One Sports. Addie Bates produces. Laura Jimenez runs the board. You can get involved 310-840-4910 and listen all day long on Sirius XM 375, the Westwood One Sports app, and the Drake Toll Show YouTube channel. You can see us. We're real beings. You know what you can't see? Any light at the end of the tunnel in Cleveland, Ohio. What an absolute catastrophic disaster. But I present me, don't deserve to start today's show after Deshaun Watson was named the starter yesterday for the Cleveland Browns. You and I had the conversation around this time 24 hours ago about where Cleveland was going to go and how the Browns were likely to name Deshaun Watson their starting quarterback despite his 5 for 12 performance in the preseason, his final preseason game, and throws an terrible interception. We talked about how the Browns were likely to name Deshaun Watson their starting quarterback because they're giving him $230 million. I don't know, start the guy who gets paid. But again, I, in my current state, don't deserve to start this show. Let's take you back to 24 hours ago when, before the 1245 meeting began that named Deshaun Watson QB1, we on this show took a pretty hard and firm stance. The franchise is in disarray because of the ownership and because Cleveland, it has not been a sustainable biome for football life in decades, if ever. Congratulations to the new starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns, Deshaun Watson. Clip this. We can go right back. We'll open the show with it tomorrow because he's going to be announced the starter. It's going to happen, and it's an embarrassment to the National Football League. Bingo. Still is. He was announced the starter yesterday. Todd Monken had to go to the podium and tell the world that the starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns is Deshaun Watson. Can you imagine waking up today in Lima, Ohio, just born and raised Cleveland Browns fan, getting in the school bus to drive the kids to school, just thinking, what's it all for, man? What's it all for? It all pointed toward Deshaun Watson, no matter his performance over the weekend, no matter his comments over the weekend. It all pointed to Deshaun Watson being QB1. But why? You're probably asking yourself why. Heck, you probably woke up today in McKinney, Texas, having played high school football against Shedeur Sanders, who played in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, saying, I wonder why couldn't they just name the kid the starting quarterback? The kid was fine. He was good in preseason, solid his last preseason game, 10 for 11. Throughout training camp, joint practices, he consistently outperformed Deshaun Watson. He earned first-team reps. Todd Monken seemed to like him. Everything Todd Monken has told us about Shedeur Sanders, I've listened to the press conferences. I have been waterboarded into following the Cleveland Browns this offseason, which, you know, at some level, who really cares? It's Cleveland. I don't think they're going to be competitive this year. But I've been waterboarded into listening to Cleveland Brown Todd Monken press conferences. And one after the other, he waxes poetic about Shedeur Sanders. He loves Shedeur Sanders. And then, hello, the Cleveland Beacon here in the middle. Yes, question for you, Todd. How do you feel about Deshaun Watson? And Monken will say, oh, it's good. He's fine. And then go back on his rant about Shedeur Sanders. Sanders was 15 for 22, 153 yards, a touchdown in the preseason as well, and competitive in drives. He's escaped this toxic narrative of always the flashy kid. No, the city's rooting for Shedeur Sanders, and the franchise is pivoting as far away from the city as humanly possible. And you know who I think is caught in the crosshairs of all of this? Is actually Todd Monken. I don't think the head coach of this team has any call. We have not heard from the owner of the Browns, Jimmy Haslam, yet. One of the owners of all time, very hands-on. He's like if Jerry Jones just didn't win football games in the regular season or postseason. We haven't heard from Jimmy Haslam since this has been announced. But last year, when Shedeur Sanders was announced as the starter, Haslam took the podium. I'm going to play you this clip from 2025 when Shedeur was named the starter. I want you to listen to how the owner of the Browns, who's super hands-on, who goes too far into orchestrating the football side of things for a guy who just owns the team, what Haslam had to say about Shedeur Sanders a year ago, because I think some of this still holds true. Jimmy?
We have good process, okay? And if you'd have told me, let's see, we picked him on Saturday, right? Friday night driving home, y'all are going to pick Shedeur, I would say that's not happening. But we had a conversation early that morning, and then we had a conversation later that day. I think we had the right people involved in the conversation. At the end of the day, that's Andrew Berry's call. Andrew made the call to pick Shedeur. Just like who's going to start or what play we're going to call is Kevin's call. But that's Andrew's call. He made the call.
So a year ago, Deshaun Watson injured, Shedeur Sanders was named the starting quarterback. And Haslam said, yeah, well, if it was up to me, if you ask me, it's not going to be Shedeur. But we're going to give Andrew Berry, the GM, the opportunity to name our starting quarterback alongside Kevin Stefanski, who was the head coach at the time. Haslam is the owner. I don't need the owner of the team walking into my practices, walking into the office, walking to the head coach and saying, this guy should be the starting quarterback. I don't want the owner at the podium saying, yeah, I would have been stunned, shocked if you named so-and-so the starting quarterback. You have the money. You own the team. You don't get to play armchair general manager. You're the owner. Haslam told you a year ago in that clip he doesn't like Shedeur Sanders. Then he says it's the GM's call and Kevin Stefanski's call. Where's Kevin Stefanski? He got fired. Where's Andrew Berry? He's still the GM, and many people think the wrong guy got canned in the whole deal, and that Andrew Berry is an inept general manager in the National Football League. Here's what I think happened. Here's what I think occurred in Cleveland, is that Jimmy Haslam, the hands-on owner who can't say, just name yourself the GM, just Jerry Jones this whole thing. Jimmy Haslam, the hands-on owner, had enough. He doesn't like Shedeur Sanders. He was a part of the deal that gave Deshaun Watson $230 million guaranteed, one of the worst contracts in the history of the National Football League. So the owner oversteps GM, oversteps new head coach, and says, I'm Jimmy Haslam. I have the money. I want you to start Deshaun Watson, the guy that I helped pay. I'm embarrassed by what we did. Obviously, that has not worked. But, man, I'm calling the shot now. Todd Monken seems more and more every day like this lame duck head coach that just stuck up there as a figurehead for Jimmy Haslam, the owner, to coach the team. We were told yesterday by Chris Mack, Westwood One Sports, he said, I wouldn't be shocked if Haslam grabs Monken by the arm before he goes to the podium and says, Todd, I changed my mind. I'm calling this. I want Deshaun Watson, the starting quarterback. You had that context going into yesterday. And now with Deshaun being named quarterback one, it seems even more like Haslam, the owner of the franchise, is the guy calling the shots, and that the whole thing is in a complete state of disarray. Shocking. Breaking news today, huh? The Cleveland Browns are a dumpster fire. Didn't see that coming, did you? Didn't see me starting there. What about Todd Monken? What about the new head coach? I think I told you this yesterday, but I want to reiterate it. Monken was the OC in Atlanta. He's never been an NFL head coach. His only head coaching experience at a high level was at Southern Miss a decade ago. But he was named the leader of a franchise. It didn't make a ton of sense to me because there were rumors out of Baltimore that John Harbaugh was going to get canned if he did not fire Todd Monken. Harbaugh was stubborn about the whole thing. Now he's the head coach in New York because he got canned. And somehow Monken, the guy who was bad enough for the Ravens to threaten to fire their head coach over the OC, landed a head coaching job. Smell that? It smells like the Cleveland Browns wanted to hire a yes man who had no position being a head coach in the National Football League so that they can call the shots. The ownership can call the shots. That's what it smells like. That's what I'm picking up here. Yesterday, a dejected Todd Monken took the podium and had this to say about naming Deshaun Watson QB1.
Deshaun is going to start against Jacksonville. Took in the full body of work over the course of off-season to training camp to the games, the joint practice, and ultimately felt like to start the season on the road, Deshaun gave us the best chance to move the ball and score points. I mean, that's really what it's about. Felt that way going into the last game, but wasn't sure. And after we talked as a staff and after we re-looked at everything, we're going to go that direction.
Okay, two things to pull out here. We feel like going on the road, we're confident in Deshaun. For the first time in the history of the NFL, which has existed for 61 years since the merger, 60 years since the merger, a head coach is using the fact that his franchise is playing on the road to start the season as justification for starting a certain human at quarterback. Did you hear that? Todd Monken is using the justification of going on the road to tell the world why he wants to start Deshaun Watson. We feel like the fact that we're on the road the first few games, we're going to start Deshaun because the home crowd hates him so much. And why does the home crowd hate him? Well, his performance has been bad in the National Football League. A guy who got a $230 million historic guaranteed contract has not been good in the NFL. I'd boo that guy too. Oh, wait a second. On Saturday in his preseason game, he was 5 for 12, 36 yards and a pick. 3 yards per pass attempt, Deshaun Watson against the Bills. So let's tear apart the other side of Todd Monken's argument here. The first side, it's stupid, silly that you would justify starting a guy because you're going on the road. That just doesn't happen. It's not how the NFL works. And on the other side, you're right. I guess he did get booed on Saturday at his preseason game against the Bills when they played in Cleveland. But you said there at the end, Todd, that going into the preseason game number 2, you were already leaning Deshaun Watson, and that after the game, as a staff, you talked about it, and you felt like, yeah, this is our guy. Let's run the numbers here. Let's crunch these. Shedeur Sanders was 9 for 11, 74 yards, a touchdown and a pick. 9 for 11, 74 yards, a touchdown and a pick. Deshaun Watson, 5 for 12, 36 yards, no touchdowns, and an interception. The world's worst interception. Shedeur Sanders, his rating, 87.1. Deshaun Watson, 14.6. What the hell could you have seen on Saturday? What am I missing? What do you mean going into the game we felt good about Deshaun Watson, then coming out of it we felt so good we didn't have the starter? No! Todd Monken is the lame duck head coach so that the owner of this franchise can run the show. It is the Drake Toll Show. Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Drake Toll with you from the Savannah Bananas organization, Locked On Big 12. Talking the Cleveland Browns quarterback battle that is over. Deshaun Watson is named the starter. Okay, all right, okay. Surely, Todd, this doesn't mean Deshaun Watson's the long-term guy. You just want to start him for the first 2 weeks while you're on the road. You can ease in Shedeur Sanders. This has got to be a week-to-week thing. He's not the QB1 for the entire year, right?
This being a week-by-week thing. Again, I think Shedeur has done a great job, come a long ways, and we're excited about his future. But this is not a week-to-week decision.
Why? What do you mean? You have Deshaun Watson, who's, I don't know, bad at being the quarterback. The same Deshaun Watson who had to apologize during his own press conference yesterday after he ripped the fan base in Cleveland and said, look, the starting quarterback of an NFL franchise over the weekend said, I would play all 17 games on the road. He was so mad at his home fan base. A guy locked in a quarterback battle said, I'd rather play 17 games on the road. He told the city that he represents, I don't want to play in your confines at all this year. I don't like you. And in the wake of that, the team and the coaching staff named him the starter. Do you know why he's a starter? Do you know why Jimmy has him? Do you know why? Can I tie it all together? Do you know why the owner wants him to start? The head coach is a lame duck and has no decision-making power. The GM at this point, Andrew Berry, has no decision-making power. And why Jimmy Haslam said, look, you guys named Shedeur. You wanted Shedeur last time. Nope, my turn. I'm naming Deshaun Watson. You know why I think the owner was at play here, why he would do this? Spotrac tweets, Deshaun Watson's contract contains a built-in poison pill. If he's on the roster next March 13th, a $200 million salary guarantee kicks in. It affords Cleveland the opportunity to designate him a post-June 1st release, which splits the remaining dead cap. So Cleveland just has to hold on to Deshaun Watson on their roster. And the remaining dead cap is going to be, you're going to lose money on Deshaun Watson, $34.6 million in 2027, $51.5 million in 2028. Then you wash your hands of this whole thing. You're going to lose money if you're Cleveland. The reason he's the starter is because Jimmy Haslam, the owner, knows that he done messed up. That he messed up big time by guaranteeing Deshaun Watson $230 million, and now he's stuck. And he's saying, well, as the rich guy in the room, as the owner, if I have to pay that guy, if he's got to make my money, if he's got to take my money, I might as well have him on the football field. If my franchise is going to dole out $230 million to Deshaun Watson, at least put him on the field and let him play. Nobody else in the league would take him. Nobody else in the league would take that contract. We know that. I'm embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed that I'm going to become the head coach for a second, and my guy's going to play starting quarterback now. That is how disheveled the whole franchise is. 310-840-4910. We're opening it up. The NFL, 310-840-4910. Call line, text line, both open. You can text the show or call the show. 310-840-4910. A massive move in Houston. After one star young wide receiver went down, did the Texans just shore up their offense to make themselves the favorite in the AFC? That's up next. It's Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. This is the Drake Toll Show. Andrea Bocelli, power and jurisdiction.
Ayahuasca was a grandmother spirit and walked with her through past, present, and future lives.
And a little bit of stick it to them.
Keyshawn Butte. Hell yeah. Number one, cool name. Number two, Houston Texan. It is official. Houston has gone across the league to bolster the wide receiver position. I think it's the right move. There were rumors in the mill that like a Keon Coleman might be the guy, or a Keyshawn Butte could be the guy, or that DeAndre Hopkins could come back to Houston. 310-840-4910. Would you have rather had DeAndre Hopkins, the old guy who's this like assistant coach czar of wide receivers for the New England Patriots right now, or the guy who's actually on the Patriots roster, Keyshawn Butte, as the next wide receiver in Houston to bolster the skill position set? Jalen Reed, Houston safety, played 7 games, 6th-round rookie in 2025, is headed to New England. 2028 7th-round draft pick, also headed to the Patriots for Butte. And this is a week after the Jaden Higgins injury, torn ACL for the Iowa State kid during those joint practices with the Raiders. You are the Houston Texans. You just landed a certified, bona fide wide receiver 2 alongside Nico Collins. You got your guy. 500 receiving yards last year, 6 touchdowns. Keyshawn Butte is going to be a consistent offensive target for the Houston Texans. Love this move. 310-840-4910. The phone line, the text line is open. Let's go back to his first year in New England when he had 2 receptions for 19 yards. Afterthought, right? LSU guy, 6th-rounder. He's going to have to fight his way to the NFL. Then bang, sophomore year, breaks out onto the scene. 43 receptions in his 15 games, 589 yards, 3 touchdowns. Whoa, double it and pass it to me. 6 touchdowns last year, doubling his production, alongside 551 yards on his 33 receptions in 14 games played for New England. The Patriots just sent that guy to Houston, and now the offense with C.J. Stroud has another weapon that Higgins probably would have filled, but with a torn ACL and missing the season, Houston needed to go in another direction. What it shows me, the first thing it shows me, is that Houston did not settle for what was already on the roster. Houston didn't say, let's keep fighting these battles, guys, and hope for the best here. Between Nico Collins or Tank Dell, Xavier Hutchinson, Zay Jones, he's still hanging out in Houston. No. They knew that Houston, the window of opportunity to compete, the window of opportunity to win is still open, and Houston needs to go get somebody on the outside to bolster the Houston Texans. I think, are we overlooking the Texans in 2026? Because if you go right now and pick a FanDuel, for example, and go to their Super Bowl odds, they don't like the Texans. Plus 1,700. That's 8th in the National Football League. No, it's not a bad play. Your $100 wins you $1,700. The Texans win the Super Bowl. They have arguably the best offense in the AFC, the best defense, I should say, in the AFC, and have now added to their offense. Butte is a proven deep threat guy. Last year, that's what he showcased. 33 receptions for 551 yards. His receptions went down. Receiving yards stayed up. 16.7 yards per reception. He's a proven deep threat in the National Football League. Steps into a fluid receiver room with starter caliber production. And you lost Jalen Reed in a 2028 draft pick. I don't know anybody in Houston who's crying today over the spilled milk of losing Jalen Reed. I don't know anybody in Houston that's upset about the 2028 7th-round draft pick. Again, Nico Collins, the supplement of Tank Dell, and now a wide receiver 2 in Keyshawn Butte. The offense is starting to make a lot more sense David Montgomery back there, too, at running back. The offense is starting to make a lot more sense for Houston that needed to build around C.J. Stroud in what very well could be a prove-it year for Stroud. When he first came to the NFL, you remember the initial combine reviews on Stroud? It said he couldn't, his Wonderlic scores were so bad that no one would sign him. Oh, we're too scared of C.J. Stroud. What if he's not smart enough? And then how dominant is this in your rookie campaign? 4,100 yards passing, 23 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He was electric. In 15 games, 4,100 yards, 23 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. That's efficient. But then in 2024, sophomore year in the league, that campaign, 3,700 yards. In 17 games played, 3,700 yards. His production's gone down 400 yards. 20 touchdowns. He's gone down 3 scores. 12 interceptions. He's jolted up 7 picks. And then last year, he failed to reach 3,100 yards, failed to reach 20 touchdowns. It's been a steady regression for C.J. Stroud. His numbers have gotten consistently worse since his first year in the NFL. And last season in the playoffs against New England is non-existent. This is a prove-it year for C.J. Stroud to remind you, hey, I'm a franchise quarterback in the National Football League. I'm a franchise quarterback for the Houston Texans. It is the Drake Toll Show, Westwood One Sports, and the Westwood One Sports app, 310-840-4910. New England, by the way, was facing kind of this wide receiver logjam. They needed to get rid of somebody. A.J. Brown is in the fold. Romeo Doubs is now a New England Patriot, 4-year, $68 million contract. Demario Douglas also there. Butte was at risk already of getting buried, losing snaps. I don't think Butte was going to be a key piece of New England because they went out and got wide receivers in the offseason to build around Drake May. And the Texans said, hey, if you don't want that, give me that. I should have got that. Now, Butte, who's entering the final year of his rookie contract, is also in a prove-it year. Hey, C.J. Stroud, you need to prove something this year? Hey, me too. Throw me the ball. I think New England wins because they need to offload wide receivers, and the Texans win because they need wide receivers. Addie Bates produces. Laura Jimenez runs the board. Good morning, Addie.
Good morning. How are you?
Notably a Houston Astros fan, but not a Houston Texans fan.
Correct.
I do like this move a lot. I think it works out for both parties. I believe that Houston, again, I think that C.J. Stroud is in a prove-it year in year 4, and if he doesn't prove it, they may have to move on to a different quarterback option to continue to compete, and a guy like Butte is only going to help.
Ooh, I will say that I agree that Butte is going to help. I don't think C.J. Stroud, I don't think they would have to move on if he doesn't, let's say, win a Super Bowl. Like, I think he has proved himself enough to be a good quarterback. He's had some struggles in there, but who hasn't? It's the same way with Josh Allen in the postseason for the Buffalo Bills. What I do think, though, is that this is...
What are you wearing on your head?
Sorry. Low risk.
Was that a receipt on your head?
No, it was a... It was a... Post-it note because I was messing with the cat during the break and she had a Post-it note.
All right, great. Just for the context, we are live on YouTube because every good radio show is also a TV show. And Addie has taken some weird personal choices with her wardrobe today.
It's just Sinatra had a Post-it note and I thought I got all of them.
The cat.
It was a low risk, high reward move for the Houston Texans.
It is the Drake Toll Show. Westwood One Sports. Say right there. Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. Let's take you to a high-risk, low-reward move in the National Football League as news broke yesterday that Jed York, the 49ers owner, well, he may or may not have solicited a prostitute for $140 at a trailer park in Ohio. That's a real headline. That's a real story. The owner of the 49ers soliciting a prostitute in East Palestine, Ohio for $140. What kind of prostitute's $140, by the way?
Are we not allowed to have fun anymore? I thought this was America.
What kind of society am I living in if I can't go to East Palestine, Ohio and
What else are you supposed to do in Ohio? Watch the Browns?
Namely East Palestine. What else? You passed by the trailer park like, I bet if I went in there, there's got to be. Well, that was the case for the owner, Jed York, who, when he fired Chip Kelly, had a lot to say. But he fired the guy and then comes to the podium and he was like, yeah, I mean, I fired him. That's all I'm going to say to you guys. I fired him. Here's a quote from over a decade ago from Jed York that I dug back up yesterday that I want to protest some things that he's saying. Jed?
I own this football team. You don't dismiss owners. I'm sorry that's the facts and that's the case, but that's the fact.
Well, about that. About the whole we don't dismiss owners thing. We're in a spot where I think the NFL would be within its bounds and the other owners to say, hey, Jed York, you just pleaded no contest to a pair of misdemeanor charges after being arrested in Ohio on suspicion of a gay. It's the Chris Hansen. It's Chris Hansen walking. You see how this looks, right? I'm Chris Hansen. He met Jed York at the door.
Wait, but there is a difference between being into a Wander Franco situation.
Sure. But from what we can see here, Jed York is at East Palestine and not looking for the underage types. He's looking for the $140 types and was
That's
arrested.
a good deal. That's a steal.
He was arrested at 9:35 a.m. on a Sunday at the Wheat Hill Mobile
Not the
Home
Lord's
Community.
Day.
Correct.
The Lord's Day.
I was at church worshiping our Lord and Savior. He was at the Wheat Hill Mobile Home Community looking for $140
Worshiping his Lord and Savior.
Yeah, 9:35 a.m. When Mahoning Valley's Human Trafficking Task Force arrested York, according to the report, and they initially charged York with a misdemeanor counts of engaging in prostitution and possessing criminal tools. Question?
What is that?
Good morning. What the hell's a criminal tool? And why is the owner of the 49ers bringing them to his $140 prostitution mobile home? That's my question.
I think he's into some stuff.
I have follow-up questions, too. Weapons of mass sexual pleasure is just a wild thing for the owner of the 49ers to pull out. Jeez. A lot of layers to this one.
Just said that.
The aftermath of this, I started thinking, I was like, okay, so what do we make him sell the team? How bad is this? No. Not only is he going to get away with this, we're going to forget about it in 6 years. Can I give you examples of how this has happened so many times before?
I don't have any other option.
2019, Robert Kraft charged by Florida police 2 counts of soliciting prostitution. That was a thing. We already did this once. Florida court blocked the use of surveillance footage, and prosecutors dropped the charges due to a lack of admissible evidence. Weird, I know. Jim Irsay, 2014, not a prostitution case, but another scandalous off-the-field issue. Irsay pulled over by police in Indiana, found with multiple prescription drugs, large amount of cash, leading to charges of driving under the influence, felony possession of controlled substances. What about players? Adam Pac-Man Jones, 2007, strip club shootout, Las Vegas. It was like sex industry adjacent and a massive scandal it was at a club, dancers, financial disputes, all involved. The Vikings love boat scandal, 2005, 20 members of the Vikings. They were with sex workers, alcohol, illicit substances on a boat. Not good. Where are those guys now? Probably still in the NFL. 2011, strip club Indianapolis. 2010, Lawrence Taylor. Addie, we do this once a year, every year. Mike Vrabel, Diana Rossini. And guess what's going to happen to the owner, Jed York? Guess what's going to happen to him?
It's going to be fine.
We'll put him in the Hall of Fame.
I'm gonna say something here, and it might be a little controversial. Were they all above 18? Is this something that someone did for work? Like this was their job?
In all of these cases, from what I've gathered in my research today, every prostitute was above 18.
Okay, so if this is like consensual,
Well,
we don't know that.
yeah, what is?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If it is, if it's
Okay.
not, if it's trafficking, then that's a problem.
Yeah, it was the trafficking force that tried to pull him, that tried to gun him down. Thank you for your thoughts here. And I'll make sure to send that to Jed York. They'll use this in the deposition.
I just think that if we're allowing people to beat their wives and stay, as long as it's not illegal, nothing illegal was, I guess that is, but
prostitution is
people are
illegal.
dying in this world. People are dying in this world.
The owner of the 49ers was arrested for alleged prostitution, and Addie's giving me the same thing that my mom would give me when I asked for fast food on the way home from school. Come on, people are dying out there. There's stuff that whatever Sting was doing in the 80s in Africa.
As long as it's not trafficking. If this is what somebody's doing as a career choice, I'm sorry,
in East Palestine, Ohio.
What else are you supposed to do in Ohio?
I'm gonna shoot you straight. I think I'm on the other side of the prostitution thing here. I think I think you and I can agree to disagree on the old prostitution with
He's
this
from
one.
Bologna, Arkansas. He goes, they don't do that on a Sunday. They can do that other days of the week, but not on Sunday.
We wouldn't do it on a Sunday. It's Saturday at 12:45. Come on. Sunday, no chance. Addie Bates produces. Laura Jimenez runs the board. Jed York is gonna get away with it.
He's going to keep Yorking it.
Oh, straight up.
We should go to break.
From one investigation to another, the FBI is in Oxford, Mississippi. Doing what to Ole Miss? That's up next. It's Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. This is the Drake Toll Show. FBI is back in Ole Miss. And this time, they're there to retrieve what they once may have left. The headline reads, Ole Miss had FBI sweep for bugs after Lane Kiffin's exit for LSU. And I'm not talking termites, no. Kiffin, the old head coach for the Ole Miss Rebels. And, there's always rumors, always questions around his recruiting style in the transfer portal and how he brought kids into Ole Miss. And so the university, now that Kiffin has left, calls the FBI and said, hey, could you guys come down here and just retrieve all the secret microphones that you may have left for Lane Kiffin? It's awesome. FBI officials from ESPN, quote, FBI officials searched for bugs in the football offices at the Manning Center once Kiffin bolted for LSU after guiding the Rebels to an 11-1 record in the regular season and their college football playoff berth. We actually had the FBI come through and walk the building for bugs and everything. It's time for our biggest losers of the day. Biggest loser, number one, Lane Kiffin. Kiffin has sparked controversy once again this week, as now LSU has signed multiple NFL players. This time, going to the National Football League ranks to grab stars to compete for LSU this year. Like, guys worked the entire offseason to be able to play college football for the Tigers. And instead, sorry. Lane Kiffin has now signed them to play for LSU, to play black in college football. Daquan Wright is an example of this. Cleveland Browns tight end who left the Browns to go play for Kiffin again. He had previously played for Kiffin at Ole Miss and will now do so at LSU. That's a Browns player. Todd Monken told us last week that Kiffin had called him on his cell phone and tried to possibly have a conversation about poaching his NFL players. Here is what Todd Monken had to say about Kiffin.
I wondered why Lane Kiffin reached out a week ago. Now I know. I mean, I didn't know. Now I know. I didn't call him back. Now I guess I should have.
Yeah, he was trying to recruit your players. He wanted to take the Browns guys and make them LSU Tigers. Turns out Todd Monken didn't need to pick the phone up. Kiffin was going to do it anyway. Wright has been granted an injunction by the state of Louisiana and can go be a Tiger. Kiffin, in response to all this, said in a press conference of his own, I don't even know Todd Monken. Take a listen.
There's some inaccuracies in that story, but I don't know. Maybe someone else called them that said they were me, So I actually don't know Todd. So I guess somebody left him a text or called that was me, because I don't know him or have his number. But
I mean, come on, Lane. Monken, former coordinator at Georgia under Kirby Smart. He's been around the SEC as an assistant, around the NFL as an assistant. And you, Lane Kiffin, son of Monty Kiffin, don't have Todd Monken's number? You think I'm going to believe you over Todd Monken, the lame duck head coach of the Browns, who's just sitting there waiting to be fired in a couple of years? I'm going to take good guy Todd Monken, who's getting his bag, over bad guy Lane Kiffin, who the FBI is cleaning up its own dirty laundry over. Our biggest loser of the day, the Drake Toll Show, Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app, Lane Kiffin. Here is, speaking of the whole FBI thing, Pete Golding, the current head coach at Ole Miss, this is just press conference city. He had a press conference and discussed the FBI being back in the facility.
Was that? I think any bowl game playoff system, obviously, you're going to up security. I'm not sure that there was a hiring process of here we go with the FBI. I do think we probably have a current player whose dad just so happens to work for the FBI that lives in town. That from that standpoint, there was no measure to go, oh my gosh, here come in from that standpoint. But no, obviously, anytime you get in that playoff system and you had guys from this building go to other places, you want to make sure it's secure for your players. Nothing from our standpoint, but the video access and everything else and all those things that you're doing regardless where you're at. I mean, that's no different when, in the semis and the quarters, regardless where you're at for the hotels that you're staying in. You've got to up the security. People are in and out and you're sweeping trash cans. I mean, that's been done for the history of ball. So, no, there was no hiring process of, hey, let's get the FBI in here. Holy cow. Let's start looking around. No, it wasn't anything like that.
It's pretty great. It's pretty great. He says, I know you guys saw the FBI come in. Don't worry, we didn't bring the FBI in. That we don't need anything. The FBI just wanted to come back and get their fancy microphones. They were here because Lane Kiffin. We're going to let them do their thing. Maybe they were using it for security purposes. Maybe they were just making sure everything, their players are safe around here. Awesome response from the Ole Miss head coach Pete Golding, who was the defensive coordinator for Lane Kiffin a year ago when Kiffin was the head coach at Ole Miss. Since then, again, Kiffin has now left for LSU, has begun poaching NFL players, and has been marred in controversy throughout the offseason because of his move to LSU and his subsequent moves to sign dudes under NFL contracts, dudes getting paid by the National Football League to come back and play college football. Addy Bates, producer of the Drake Toll Show. I'm going to side with anyone who's not named Lane Kiffin on this.
Why? I feel like what did he do? I feel like he's a notable good guy.
He's a red-blooded American. He's a stand-up citizen.
Yeah, it's not like he was in East Palestine paying for stuff.
You don't think the East Palestine thing's a problem. If you think that you pay $140 in Ohio to get a little action, that it's just not that bad, huh?
Oh, I'm going to bring up what I said during the break, Drake Toll. When you go on a date...
You know what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Some guy listening in his car right now is going to go home to his wife. I told you. She's right. It's not that big of a deal. It's not even a thing. What else am I supposed to do?
When you go on a date, how much money do you spend beforehand on dinner and wine?
I buy nice dinners on dates. I buy
what
wine
are your
on
intentions?
dates.
What are your intentions on the end? At the end, Drake?
To have a nice conversation, possibly a sweet kiss, maybe a loving kiss, right, and then right off to the sunset.
Okay, that's okay. I think your mom's listening.
When I was in college,
okay.
I didn't kiss anyone in college on a first date. Third date. One time was a third date.
There's no way that is true, Drake.
Technically fourth date one time.
Drake, there's no way that's true.
It's true. I mean, I'm not in college anymore, but it's a fact.
Liar, pants on fire.
No,
it's not getting hot in here. Oh.
Yeah, now what, huh?
It's getting hot in here. I don't think you're telling the truth. Something's on fire.
You can bug me. The FBI doesn't need bugs. We've got 19 microphones in this room. They're already picking up. I'm already picking up everything.
I don't even think Lane Kiffin has the brain power to say anything. He just says anything. It's fine. You don't need bugs to figure out what he's thinking. He'll just say it.
And Texas Tech, they were the bad guys. They were really. We all hated Texas Tech there for 3 months. That story blew over.
I mean, I still do. But
their quarterback gambled at Indiana, and they fought for the kid. And then Lane Kiffin's got the FBI, college football, the NFL. Diana Rusi needed Jed York to Lane Kiffin. Scandal. You get a scandal. You get a scandal. You get a scandal. This offseason for immorality has rocked. Love that. Love that for us. Didn't even have to FBI bug us. Addy Bates produces. Laura Jimenez runs the board. Those are your biggest losers of the day. Jed York, the 49ers owner who's arrested for possible prostitution in Palestine, Ohio, and Lane Kiffin, whose bugs were taken out of the Ole Miss offices now that he is gone. Uh-oh. One organization, in an effort to win the AL West, has fired its GM. Did the Astros just make a terrible decision? That's up next. This is the Drake Toll Show. Houston Astros, a half game back in the AL West. Fighters' chance to make the postseason in 2026 have fired their general manager. Dana Brown is out. See ya! Gone as the GM. It is the Drake Toll Show. Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. Addie Bates produces. Laura Jimenez runs the board. He has been the Astros GM since 2023. Early in the year, this was the Astros' response. We're like, all right, come on. We've got a chance. Let's go with dynasty mode. And dynasty mode hasn't necessarily worked out. Luckily, we have in our very own back pocket from MLB Network, notable Houston Astros fan. Drum roll, please, Laura. Give it up for Addie Bates. Good morning, Addie. Great to see you.
Good morning.
The Houston Astros, I have made it very clear, my rooting interest, the things that I love and want to win in this world are things I don't often bring up on this show. Therefore, it is admirable to me that we can talk Astros from your standpoint as someone who really appreciates the Astros. May I begin our obituaries with your team?
Absolutely.
It is time for our obituaries. Let's eulogize some folks. Dead today, Dana Brown is the Astros GM. Addie, let's start it high level. Was this the right move?
The right move was never hiring Dana Brown. That was the right move. Firing him at this point, I don't think that's the right move. I'm not a big fan of him, but what difference is it going to make with 2 months if you make it to the postseason left in the season? If you make it there. Right now, what's happening is Jim Crane, the Astros owner, is trying to Jerry Jones it over in Houston. He wants more power. That's what that is. Because it doesn't make sense to have 3 assistant general managers and to have Jeff Bagwell, who's known for the atrocious Jose Abreu contract when they didn't have a general manager last time. It was a bad move to hire Dana because their general manager before that, James Click, was really effective. And now that Dana's gone, I don't think it just has an impact on the rest of the season.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if you, what I'm trying to process through that is if you make the move in the offseason, does it hamper, because now you can begin the search for your next GM and have a GM in place by the end of September. In that event, end of the season, let's say you're even, I don't understand why you shouldn't punt the year. You can still make the playoffs. You're in the AL West. You're a half game back of a postseason. You're a half game back of winning the division to clinch a postseason spot. Is there an upside to having a new GM in place the day the offseason begins?
I mean, you're not going to go out and make these big trades immediately or sign these guys as soon as the season ends. That's not super common. But the thing is right now you have 3 assistant GMs with a month left. You don't have a GM at all at this point of the season for a baseball team. There's no GM. So it's just his contract was already going to expire at the end of the season. For them to not just let it out, just let it wait it out, and fire him now is just a little bizarre. And that's why I think this is just their owner, Jim Crane, wanting to just take more control and full control over the team, even though what he is doing, it is him that's kind of destroying this team with his hirings, where he's spending his money, where he's not spending his money, and vetoing trades that could have helped the team versus some of these trades that make Dana Brown look terrible. But it's because Jim Crane had vetoed other trades before that. So I think he was just the fall guy. I'm not a big fan of him, but I do think he was the fall guy in this scenario. Their head coach right now, their manager, their skipper, Joe Espada, he also is at the end of his contract. And reports initially came out that they told him they were not going to renew his contract. But then other reports came out saying, no, they'd never had that conversation. I don't see them renewing Joe Espada's contract because he and Dana Brown, I feel like those are kind of tied together in their work with the team or lack thereof. Because think about it this way. The Astros had reached 7 ALCSs. They had reached the American League Championship 7 straight years. They get Dana Brown, they get Joe Espada, and they have struggled. They did not make it to the postseason last year, which is a weird feeling if you're an Astros fan. But that's kind of just showing how this has not worked out.
AJ Hinch, Dusty Baker. Remember those names?
Of course I do.
Brian McCann, Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa, Alex Bregman, George Springer, Josh Reddick. I'll throw that name in there. Carlos Beltran, old man Carlos Beltran.
Are you reading the 2017 roster?
I am reading the 2017 roster. How'd you know?
Because you're going back 9 years.
Yeah, Lance McCullers. I'm thinking, okay, Dallas Keuchel. Oh, Cy Young caliber Dallas Keuchel. I'm thinking back to when it became apparent the Astros had a roster and longevity to build a dynasty. Mm-hmm. That was 10 years ago. Today, I look at the Houston Astros and say, uh-oh, those are all old names now, and the new names, you just fired your GM, if you fire the coach, Joe Espada, alongside that, what that screams to me is the Astros are back in the... Hey, look, you had a 10-year window of winning at an elite level. It looks like the Houston Astros, who have been the best franchise of the last decade in Major League Baseball, they're going to hit the reset button.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Which is funny because Jim Crane has said multiple times, like, I do not want to rebuild. That is not what this is. They want to be buyers. They want to be buyers. They want to be buyers. And then it's always fallen through. Potential candidates that I think could be good. I'm not going to say Jeff Lunau. He was their general manager when that whole scandal broke out, but everybody else has had a second chance. AJ Hinch, who was the manager of the Astros when that happened, is now
All right. We got the 49ers owner is buying prostitutes, allegedly, for $140 in East Palestine, Ohio. We can bring back the 2017 trash can guy.
Actually, technically, it started from an intern, but yes, he was a great general manager in terms of keeping prospects, knowing how to make trades without depleting your farm system. He was good in that respect. That is what he was known for. Other people, Andrew Friedman of the Los Angeles Dodgers, notably from Houston, and we know that if the Dodgers have to sell, if Mark Walter has to sell, we know that Shohei Ohtani is probably going to leave, and we know that Andrew Friedman will probably also leave. I think that would be a fantastic fit if he were to leave the Dodgers. Andrew Friedman going back to Houston, working with the Astros. I know a lot of people are like, oh my God, that's going to the dark side. Well, I mean, he was already with the evil empire in LA, so what's the difference? Let's keep going that way.
Did you just tell me that if Mark Walter, the owner of the Dodgers, who's missing $17 billion in the eyes of the U.S. government, if that guy sells the Dodgers the way he sold the Lakers, that the Astros could hire the Dodgers GM?
I could see that.
And sign Shohei Ohtani?
No, I did not say they would sign Shohei Ohtani.
No, but they could. But that's where where GM goes, Shohei could go as well.
Yes, although
I'm piecing everything together.
I'm learning. No, I do not see them signing Shohei Ohtani. I think he'll stay on the West Coast no matter what. That's what I really think. But if all of that, those are just a bunch of hypotheticals. If domino pieces were to fall, like I could see Andrew Friedman going to Houston. But man, I really would reach out to Jeff Lunau. I mean, he's a great general manager, and I feel like he served his time. AJ Hinch, who was on that team, is now the manager of the Tigers, and they love him. So those are just some options that I feel like would be better than Dana Brown or would be better than Jim Crane trying to be the new Jerry Jones.
Good morning to the West Coast. Good morning to those just waking up in San Diego with us. It is the Drake Toll Show, Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. Should the Astros send A.J. Preller an offer he can't refuse? The GM of the Padres, the guy who he's a buy. I think A.J. Preller is the best GM in baseball because every year he's like, this is our year. We're going to win it all.
And they just got new owners who are saying the exact same thing. So it's a good fit. I don't think the Astros are going to get A.J. Preller, but I like the enthusiasm from your end for sure.
Preller is the most fan-friendly front office manager of maybe any sports team. Fans are like, we won. And he's like, all right, great, fine. If that's what you guys want, if you guys want to win, we'll win right now.
He's like a young Santa Claus, you know?
To the detriment of every single thing in the future. But 10 years from now, who cares? We're winning today, baby. That's the way the Padres handle their business. Has it worked? Not with a championship. But this could be the year. They bought at the deadline. This could be the year. Those are our obituaries today. It is the Drake Toll Show, Westwood One Sports. And the Westwood One Sports app, Addie Bates produces from MLB Network. Laura Jimenez runs the board, and it is time for the Quickie. Top 5 headlines in all of sports. Addie Bates reads them. Drake Toll has a minute to respond to each. Good thing that is my name.
That makes me Addie Bates. Drake Toll, here is your first headline. Pro athletes planning to return to NCAA apparently irks the SEC.
Apparently. Never had pro athletes back in the NCAA before.
Evidently, we didn't play well.
The idea that NFL players, guys who went through training camp, guys who, how do I want to, okay. On the one hand, it is bad to have a guy dressed in a Cleveland Browns uniform go back and play at LSU. I know. I agree with that. On the other hand, I'm John Quinones. This is what would you do? These players got 4 years of college football. Every other player, class of 2021, 2023, 2024, they've all been granted 5 years of college football. These players graduate after their 4 years. What are you forced to do? Go to the workforce, the NFL, or be an insurance salesman. Then it comes out, hey, just kidding. We're going to give you 5 years just like everybody else. These players very likely already would have spent their 5th year in college, so I do feel for them. They're doing what they already would have done if the NCAA could get their ish together from the beginning. Because they didn't, these players are between rock and hard place. That said, I'm a normal human being. You played the NFL. I'm sorry it's unfair. I don't want you back in college football. Lane Kiffin, please stop bringing these players in. Also, the SEC, your statement is a nothing burger until you tell me that you're going to do something about it. That's a minute.
I think I agree with all of that, except where you said you're a normal human being.
I try my best.
Is your second headline. Shedeur Sanders' big NFL chance may have already come and gone.
I don't think that Shedeur is if I had to put money on it, I would bet for sure. I would buy all day that Shedeur starts for the Browns at some point this season, and Shedeur starts in the first half of the season. I know Todd Monken said that the Deshaun Watson deal is not week to week, and that Deshaun is the Brown starter. I don't think that's going to be. I don't foresee that being the case in Cleveland. However, the owner of the Browns, Jimmy Haslam, he has made it very clear he's going to run the show. And Todd Monken is a coach who you had not heard of until 7 months ago for a reason. Todd Monken has been hired to lose, to answer to the owner, and to be a puppet of management in Cleveland. So I to that point, knowing that the owner, Jimmy Haslam, doesn't like Shedeur Sanders, maybe his window has closed because Cleveland is such a dumpster fire. That's a minute.
Well, we're going to stick in Cleveland for this one because the Browns have a $200 million reason to cut Watson after 2026 season.
Yep. The money is the side of this for why Deshaun Watson is starting. And there's a bit to unpack here, but I'll try to be short. Deshaun Watson was signed for $230 million guaranteed. And cutting him after 2026, if he's still on the roster March 13th of next year, a $200 million salary guarantee kicks in. They need to offload Deshaun Watson after this year. They will offload Deshaun Watson after this year, but they've already guaranteed him so much money. At this point, if we're paying him, we might as well play him, is the mentality in Cleveland. That was not the mentality with Kyler Murray. That was not the mentality with Tua Tagovailoa. And now both those guys are on minimum contracts to play for their new teams in the National Football League. They're getting paid by their old franchises to play somewhere else. The Browns like, well, if we're going to pay him, we're going to play him. Problem is, the guy that they're talking about is Deshaun Watson. You shouldn't play him. But that this is the call they've made. And now Deshaun Watson is costing them money still, and he's going to cost them winning football games as well. That's a minute.
Here's your next headline. We're going to go to the diamond for this one. Cal Raleigh hits career-high 3 home runs for the Mariners against the Phillies.
His first 3 home runs of the year. Man, it took him a long time, but Cal Raleigh finally came around. That is hyperbolic, though I think he went from, 10 home runs to 13 home runs this season?
Did you see his OPS after he got hit on the butt by PCA?
Oh.
There was a PCA at bat where he smacked the big dumper, and since then, Cal Raleigh's been playing a lot better.
Just had to activate the butt. We gonna do that butt thing. Raleigh's had a dismal 2026. After a near MVP campaign a season ago, Cal Raleigh this year is batting 167 with a 282 OBP. That is bad. Raleigh began the night last night with 14 home runs. He's now at 17. He also got 51 RBI on the year. Raleigh's had again, dismal's the right word, bad, terrible 2026. Not even in the context of a near MVP winner, just in the context of baseball. He's been extremely bad. And the Mariners have been one of the biggest disappointments in the American League. That's a minute.
Here's your final headline. Angel Reese breaks WNBA record with 26 rebounds against Sparks and sets the single-season record as well.
Yes! She did it. Her story, of course. Angel Reese, 26 rebounds. No two ways around it. Okay, so you may be driving your car today and say, I don't like it at WNBA. Or you're driving your car and you watch every WNBA game. The storylines that you hear on CNN, on MSNBC, on Fox News, on any of those, I've told you yesterday, I don't really care. I'm good. I've got other things to occupy my brain with, other things to think about and focus on. But when you talk about the game itself, right? 26 rebounds is damn good. No two ways around that. It is a WNBA single game record, a 78-71 win, the Atlanta Dream over the Los Angeles Sparks, and 26 rebounds. Reese is quoted as saying, last time I was here, I didn't miss any shots. Tonight I couldn't hit anything, so I knew that I was going to be able to get them on the rebounding side. I just want to be consistent for my team, offensively, defensively, whatever it takes to win. If you're rooting against this, if you're mad at this, I don't understand why. It's just good player does elite thing. You should be happy about that. There's no reason to be upset with that. That's a minute.
Those are your headlines for the day.
The WNBA can't hurt us. It's okay. Can't hurt you. That's a minute. That's the Quickie Top 5 headlines in all of sports. Addy Bates produces. Laura Jimenez runs the board. Oh, no. NFL players are making their way back to college football, and the SEC just released a statement. Problem is, that statement was probably written by ChatGPT. That's up next. This is the Drake Toll Show.
The NFL.
Hey lady, you got the love I need. Baby, more than enough. Oh, darling, 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 walk a while with me. Oh, you got so much, so much, so much.
made a promise to Laura Jimenez that if she played Pony by Genuine, that I would strip on the Drake Toll Show's live stream, the Drake Toll Show YouTube channel or Twitter.
Nice.
I may have taken things too far. But I did. A promise is a promise, and Laura, going out of the break, said, "You promised." That's a good point. Thank you, Laura. Good morning.
I thought you had a shirt on under that.
I do not.
Take it off. Take it off.
Well, here's the deal. I had
For all the
promised Laura.
viewers.
I promised Laura that I would take it off and that I would, put on a show. And after being inspired by Jed York, the 49ers owner who solicited a prostitute in East Palestine, Ohio, over the weekend, on Sunday, I thought, okay, if he can do it, right? I mean, come on.
Laura, I appreciate you thinking that the viewers want to see Drake strip it down. I appreciate you thinking that.
We're gender equality. If they're here for you, Addie, they should be here for Drake too.
Whoa,
so
I
come
did
on, do
not
it again.
imply me. I did not imply me there.
Addie? Addie, the ball is in your court now.
No, my collarbone showed in one show, and we got comments about it. Okay,
We did. That was a record viewer day, by the way. Let's be very clear. We've never had more viewers. Yesterday was a close second, by the way.
Because you mentioned kissing bad,
We told
dirty
Addie-
people.
It was wild. Addie wore a sundress on the show, which is crazy for 6 a.m. And then she starts talking about her kissing life, and then just the views began to skyrocket. We're at a fraction. We're at a fraction today. She wears a hat and a T-shirt. And makes no sense. Look, it just is what it is. Sometimes it just is the Drake Toll Show. Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. This is where Addie Bates produces. Laura Jimenez runs the board. This is where Pony by Genuine plays. It's a good song, man. Addie tried to veto that song. She said, "Don't like it. You shouldn't use it."
I did not say that. I love that song.
It's such a good song. Such a good song. It is the Drake Toll Show, Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. I told you that college football players are trying to, NFL players. Well, college football. Well, now they're NFL players. They want to go back to college and play college football. So let's pay off that tease, huh? Addie, I want to lay this out for you.
Okay.
And I need your help. Because I did this a second ago, but I want to flesh out the full idea here. I graduated, let's say high school. I graduated 2022, okay? So I played my 2022 year, 2023, 24, 25. I played 4 years of college football, okay? When I get out of college football, what's the first thing you do?
Go to the combine. Go to the draft.
You go to the combine, go to the draft. If you don't make the NFL, you go sell insurance, you go sell cars, you go do something different. I've got a cousin who played at Arkansas State.
Realtor, yeah.
You become a realtor, you become a realty. And so, hey, we've established that. If you had played in 2022, let's say you redshirt in 2022, then do some quick math. This season, you'd be in your redshirt senior year still in college football, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're in an event where kids who graduated high school in 2021 or 2020, by virtue of COVID, they were given an extra year. They were given what was called the COVID year. Other kids graduated class of 2023, 2024, they're still in college. They've been welcomed into a new rule. It's called 5 and 5. You've got 5 years to play 5 seasons of college ball. One of those can be a red shirt, sure, but you get 5 years, period. We draw the line after that. We don't care how hurt you are. Sorry. The weird thing is, Addie, that class of 2022 is stuck in the middle. They don't get the 5 and 5. They don't get the COVID year. Everyone else around them gets 5 years of college athletics. The high school class of 2022 got 4 years. Does that seem fair?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it does. And I'm sorry. Here's what I'm going to say. I also don't think that the class of 2022 needs a COVID year. At that point, and I'm saying this because I was a college athlete during that time, pretty much everything was back to normal at that.
I don't think 2021 needed a COVID year either, to be fair.
No, yeah. I think it's just the class of 2020 and like 2019. Those people who were in college at that time, that's where I think. And then we should have drawn the line. This isn't the YMCA where everybody gets a participation trophy and everything's equal. I understand that's how a lot of these kids grew up playing sports. But 2021, 2022, college sports were back to normal. Sure, you had to wear a mask in 2020 and part of 2021 when you were playing college athletics, but you still got to play. Trust me, I was there. I have pictures from that. I was there. and every other sport got to play as well. So class of 2022, you missed that, which thank God you did because it was terrible. But I don't think you need to be in college for 5 years. I mean, if you redshirt, that's a little bit different. Like if you have to redshirt, like, during your freshman year, if you're going to, let's say, University of Texas, going to Baylor, and you're like, okay, well, you're not going to play, so we're going to redshirt you. That's been a thing for a while. That is different. But needing all of these extra years, like, I'm sorry, you didn't miss the same kind of time that those other classes did before you.
I think the only pushback that I would have, because I agree, I think the 4-year thing has worked forever. So now we're moving to 5 years. Like, why? Just don't do that. The 4-year thing has worked forever. By the way, I wasn't a college athlete. Addie was. I went to college for 4 years. Like the kid who's not a college athlete and wants a bachelor's degree does. I did my undergrad for 4 years. And the only pushback I have now is that they're watching, class of 2022 is watching every class after them for the rest of time get 5 years. They've reset the tone. Here's why this matters. Before we get too much deeper, I want to give you the payoff, why we're talking about the class of 2022 and all these. Well, let's put a bow on it. There are players in the National Football League, the Cleveland Browns, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are class of 2022 high school graduates. They got their 4 years of college. They did what everyone does. They go to the NFL or they go to the workforce. Once they got there, they realized, hey, wait a second. I only got 4 years. Everybody else is getting 5. So from there, a judge has granted a 5th year to all players in the class of 2022. So if you remember the Cleveland Browns fighting for a roster spot, you say, hey, whoa, if I'm given a 5th year, then I could just go back to college. I never would have gone to Cleveland. I never would have gone to the NFL if I had known that I could have gotten a 5th year of college. That's where the guys, the 22, 23-year-olds who are in the middle of all this, that's where they're stuck, is they're saying, hey, if you had given the injunction a year ago, I would have stayed in college. I only did what I had to do. Now I want to go back to my better opportunity, go back to college. So kind of the devil on the shoulder, the angel on the shoulder. The devil's saying, hey, come on. It's only fair they also get 5 years. They would have done this anyway. Let them go back. The angel's saying what I think is a much clearer point. Once you've gone to the NFL, once you've worn the jersey, once you've been in training camp, I don't think you should be able to go back to college football. I'm sorry this didn't work out for you, but you've got a chance at this point to fight for a roster spot in the NFL. You kind of got to just stay there and do that.
It was known whenever I was in high school, whenever I was getting recruited, and my dad would instill this in me and just remember, hey, you cannot do all of these things per the NCAA because you're trying to get recruited. And I knew that as soon as if I wanted to go into a pro regional at the time or go on like the pro tour, just play in one tournament, I was done. There was no more eligibility because at that moment I decided that I wanted to go pro. I never did that, but I know other players, other bowlers, other athletes who did that. It's not an uncommon thing. This was a known thing back then. And I understand it may not be fair, but at the end of the day, life's not fair. That is life, okay? You got the 4 years of eligibility. They're saying all these other... That's life. But I'm sorry, that's just what it is. I think the injunction is fine. I don't love it. I do not love it. Let me say that. I think it's fine if you didn't go pro. If you didn't go pro. If you're over there slinging burgers at McDonald's, if you're selling cars, if you're, doing IT work, whatever you're doing, if you decide, like if somebody was like, hey, I still think you're good enough to play, then sure, go do it for one more year, but that's all you get. Okay? Because at that point, it's also ridiculous in my opinion, but that's my only minor cap. Maybe. Yeah. It's a maybe.
Interesting. So, I think an example of this would be Hosea Wheeler is the guy's name. He's an Indiana kid, played for IU. And then he got the 5th year injunction and had not gone to the NFL. So he's like, oh, shoot, I haven't worn a Browns jersey. I haven't been a Buccaneer. I can just get off the couch, stop flipping burgers, stop being an accountant. And because of this injunction, I get my 5th year. I'm going to go back and play college football. Are we established? I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm piecing it together. Are we establishing that if you didn't go to the combine, didn't go to the NFL, didn't go through training camp, you should be able to come back through this injunction and play another year of college football? But if you are in training camp, you should not be able to come back.
Yes, that would be the only way that I think would be okay because you're not pro. You are not a professional athlete. That is that. I'm just going back to what's been the rule in the NCAA for years, for decades, for as long as I've been. You just cannot go pro. And obviously, a lot of this stuff happened before NIL, because whenever I went to college, when I was an athlete, like at the beginning, my first year, like NIL was not a thing, and then it came into play the next season. But that is the big thing. That is the big overarching thing. And also, I'm going to say it. Like, I think you can do that if you didn't go pro, but it is still a little odd. Like a 23-year-old going back to college, like to go play one more year of football, like it is odd. But the odds of someone who hasn't been in the game anymore, like going to a D1 school, a D2, like, I mean, I feel like it's a little slim.
Yeah, Daquan Wright, he is the Cleveland Browns player who is now committed to LSU and wants to go back to college and play football again in the collegiate ranks. The SEC put a statement out yesterday. It says, after a Monday evening video conference of the presidents and chancellors of the Southeastern Conference, the conference is issuing the following statement. I'm going to read part of this. College athletes, not former professional athletes, have been at the heart of the Southeastern Conference. Individuals who choose to leave college athletics, sign professional playing contracts, compete professionally, should not then be permitted to return to college competition. Allowing that to occur will blur the line between college and professional sports, create a significant competitive equity concern, and reduce opportunities. College sports are for college athletes. The current confusion around national eligibility standards emphasizes the need to advance the Protect College Sports Act. Last thing I've got on this. That statement could have been an email. That statement could have been nothing. You didn't give me a statement. You said the things that I already know. Hey, this is kind of not good. You didn't say you're going to put a stop to it. You didn't say you won't let Lane Kiffin do it. You didn't say it's illegal in the SEC or the conference is taking a stand. The Big 12 sued Texas Tech to ensure that Brendan Sorsby could not play at Tech after he'd gambled on college football games while playing college football. The SEC is saying, oh, you shouldn't be able to do that. Yet I do not see anywhere in the statement the SEC making a parameter that harbors LSU, that halts LSU from being able to do this.
The other thing is, I mean, they're not going to do anything. They're going to say, oh, this isn't okay, but, we're still going to do it because it makes money. Like, they're not going to turn that down. The other part of this that I think is really important, and I think they need to rework this for all college athletes, it's kind of like the Lenore Sellers situation where you're not actually taking any classes. I'm like, you're not actually a college student at that point. Like, you're just there hanging out for fun. So I feel like if you're going to go back, you better get that master's degree, and you better understand that second year you're paying for it out of pocket out of yourself or scholarships that are not athletic related. Like, these are things that need to be understood. Like, I think you do actually have to be a college student. There are a lot of things going into college sports right now that are just very messed up, and this is just one of those things. I don't see the SEC actually doing anything to stop it unless the government gets involved, and that's what we've been seeing for everything. Is the government will get involved, a judge will get involved, things will get overturned, that's just, if you want something to change in college sports, you just got to go to a judge and they'll do it for you. So it's a whole mess right now. And yes, their statement, I think, was just more of a PR stunt, like, oh, I guess we should say something.
310-840-4910. There are NFL players going back to college football. It is the Drake Toll Show, Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. 310-840-4910. Still getting texts this hour from San Diego. Kimmons says, I love A.J. Preller. This is in reference to the GM of the San Diego Padres, who is very fan-friendly. Championship or not, he has made September baseball relevant in San Diego every year. Check our attendance record, 65 sellouts so far. He is elite. Now that the Astros have fired their GM, think you send whatever bag possible to A.J. Preller, try to pull him away from San Diego, which would not work. But, I mean, one of the most fan-friendly general managers in all of professional sports. Out in West Texas, Jimmy Haslam, the owner of the Browns, wants Deshaun Watson to get hurt. Insurance pays his contract. Rich guy gets richer. That's not. Maybe that's where smoke, there's fire. Maybe that's why Deshaun Watson's been named the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. We'll get to more of that at 8 o'clock on the East Coast. And finally, from a North Carolina number, I wish Addie would have sued for more eligibility to stay in college athletics for a fifth year.
I actually have 3 years of eligibility left.
Don't do it. Are you gonna?
I only bowled for 2 years.
Are you gonna Big Lebowski us and just pop over?
Should I go back to college?
You should go back to college.
4910. Should Addie go back to college and become a college athlete again while working on the Drake Toll Show?
That's good. 310-840-4910. Oh, that's good. Do you know what's not good? The 49ers owner may have tried to pay a prostitute in East Palestine, Ohio. What does that mean for the franchise? This show is sponsored by Navy Federal Credit Union, proudly serving all branches of the armed services, veterans, and their families. Learn more at NavyFederal.org. Our members are the mission. That's coming up next. This is the Drake Toll Show.
Who is on?
So seductive. Jed York, the owner of the San Francisco 49ers, may or may not have solicited a prostitute in East Palestine, Ohio over the weekend at 9:35 a.m. in a trailer park. What? He was, 9:35 a.m. in a trailer park. He was arrested. Oh, man, that's probably not good. Now, here's the deal. We've opened today's show, and we've talked a lot about how York was arrested. Let me read you. Here's the headline from ESPN. 49ers owner Jed York arrested on suspicion of engaging in prostitution. According to Columbiana County, Ohio, their court records obtained by ESPN, York allegedly responded to an undercover ad on a known prostitution website and, quote, arranged to have sexual activity with the female. The female. Not even just the female. Do you think this is in reference to like a really famous lady of the night in East Palestine, Ohio? In exchange for only $140. That feels like we're lowballing it here. Addie was telling me earlier she's no longer able to fly as she was Googling this, that there are $6,000 options being driven by Silicon Valley for I'm learning a lot about prostitution.
No. He went to the candy shop, okay? He went to the candy shop.
So seductive. York was arrested upon arriving at the meeting location with the cell phone used to arrange the meeting, according to the records. An arrest report filed by the East Palestine Police Department notes York was arrested Sunday at 9:35 a.m. While I was up there praising the Lord, I'm out there, singing and shouting, Amazing Grace. The owner of the 49ers is being arrested in a small Ohio town at the Wheat Hill mobile home community for trying to solicit a... Imagine this. I want to take you into a zone. Hey, baby girl. It's Jed York, the owner of the 49ers. What you thinking about right now? Would you like to meet me in your mobile home and we could get it on? I've got 140 of the finest American dollars. And then just later, Sunday morning, he wakes up at 7:23 a.m. Hey, baby, it's Jed York. Opens up the mobile home door, and it's the entirety of the East Palestine Police Department. We got your ass. They jump him. That's what happened. The East Palestine Police assisted the Mahoning Valley Human Trafficking Task Force in York's arrest, according to the report. And now the 49ers owner has been arrested. It's time for our Idiots of the Day.
Idiot of the Day.
Idiot of the Day number 1, Jed York. Believe it or not, sign him up. Sign him up. What's wild is, as we've unpacked this prostitution case, Addie and I are on different aisles here. For me, I personally believe that paying anyone $140 for relations, not only is it already illegal everywhere except for like Las Vegas, but I think it should probably stay illegal. Maybe that's my Valonia, Arkansas coming out.
I don't know.
Drake, I said Drake has paid more for bottles of wine ahead of a date before, so.
I do love a good bottle of wine. I never kissed on the first date. Sometimes. I think the illegality of prostitution is a positive thing for the United States of America. Addie has made it clear, as long as it's not trafficking, which, thank you for adding that addendum, as long as it's not that, she sees this as an industry where people can make a hard-earned living.
I don't know.
Yeah, I just, if this is like a 40-year-old Amy Maraschino, like Cherry, like just, this is what she does, I just don't care.
If this is a 40-year-old what?
That's her name, Amy Maraschino. Like, I just don't care. Like, as long as you're not like human trafficking here. Like, if this is a 40-year-old in her little trailer, maybe putting an ad out on Craigslist because she doesn't know how to use anything else.
Let me in.
I just don't care.
Amy! It's the owner of the 49ers. I'm looking for Amy Maraschino.
Like, I just don't. I'm sorry. I think it's way worse to commit, fraud.
Get on the ground. It's the East Palestine Police on the ground.
$17 billion worth of fraud, or for you to be Josh Jacobs and hit your girlfriend or hit people with a gun, then, maybe responding to a Craigslist ad.
Or hit people with a gun. Don't hit people with a gun. Addie will draw the line. She does not like when you hit people with guns.
I'm referencing Terry and Arnold. Sorry, guys.
Correct.
But I'm
allegedly.
sorry. If it's not human trafficking, that is, those people who do that are scum of the earth. If this is just a 40-year-old who was just on the marketplace Facebook dating, I'm sorry. I can't say I care all that much.
Again, funny visual, trailer park, mobile home. Get on the ground! Police! Police! It's Jed York. He just whispers slowly. You're not Cherry Maraschino. I've been fooled. I've been duped. Yep, showed up the mobile home. No prostitute, just the police.
You see how this looks.
You see how this looks, right? I'm Chris Hansen. No, you're not. No, you're not. It's a great moment. Great Chris Hansen moment. He's the To Catch a Predator guy that we know of.
Wait, hold on. They did not say that.
Right. That we know of. Jed York was not there to meet a child.
He was there for Amy Maraschino.
He was there for Cherry Maraschino, just to get his rocks off for a second in East Palestine, Ohio, and then be on his way to continue owning the 49ers. Let's take you back to over a decade ago when this same man, Jed York, fired Chip Kelly as a football coach and had this to say about his own career as an owner.
I own this football team. You don't dismiss owners. I'm sorry that that's the facts and that's the case, but that's the fact.
Well, there are circumstances where you can dismiss owners. That said, Addie, almost to your point, we have let other people off the hook for far less. Let me take you back to 2019 when Robert Kraft was charged by Florida police on 2 counts of soliciting prostitution as a part of a multi-county massive law enforcement sting targeting illicit day spas and human trafficking networks. Guess who still owns the Patriots? Correct. Robert Kraft. Jim Irsay, we'll take you back to 2014. Severe off-the-field criminal charges and legal discipline as he was pulled over by police in Indiana with multiple prescription drugs, large amounts of cash, leading to charges of driving under the influence and felony possession of controlled substances. 6-game suspension, $500,000 fine for the owner of the Colts. How about the players? Pac-Man Jones, Las Vegas Strip Club. One of these really weird 2007 scandals that led to a brawl that escalated into a shooting that left a man paralyzed. Minnesota Vikings Love Boat, 2005. 20 players on a boat with prostitutes that are on a luxury cruise in Lake Minnetonka that's subsequently stocked with sex workers, alcohol, and substances. 2011, Indianapolis Strip Club. 2010, Lawrence Taylor. We forget about the Lawrence Taylor deal, by the way. Lawrence Taylor, listen to this, was arrested in New York for patronizing a prostitute and promoting prostitution. Investigators alleged he paid a 16-year-old runaway for relations at a Ramada Inn. You see how this looks, right? What? I'm Chris Hansen. No, you're not. So if we learn anything from this on our Idiots of the Day on the Drake Toll Show, it's that, you know what's going to happen to Jed York, the owner of the 49ers? Probably nothing. We'll see him next week.
Well, I don't know. I feel like if his name was Kobe Bryant, we'd let that slide and maybe let a little worse slide, actually. If he was good, if he was good on the field.
Karl Malone's cousin was underage. Jerry Lee Lewis? Jerry Lee Lewis kept making money. He kept making songs.
Not only was she underage, but she was also random. His cousin.
Correct. Karl Malone and Jerry Lee Lewis had a lot in common. Jerry Lee Lewis played 4 years ago at before he died, and Jerry Jones, well, not Jerry didn't die, but at Jerry Jones' birthday party, Jerry Lee Lewis played and then passed away 3 days later. He named his first son Jerry Lee Lewis Jr. That child would go on to die. He would have another son with another family member and name that son also Jerry Lee Lewis Jr. Awesome. No notes. Star power.
Thank you, President Trump.
Those are your idiots of the day. Jed York, the owner of the 49ers, for prostitution. Howdy Bates produces. Laura Jimenez runs the board. It's Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. On the other side, the saddest franchise of all time, the Cleveland Browns, just named a new quarterback, and the head coach had no say in the decision. That's next on the Drake Toll Show.
This is West.
Deshaun Watson is the starting quarterback of the saddest franchise on the face of the earth. 310-840-4910. It is the Drake Toll Show, Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. And I don't think that the head coach of the Browns, Todd Monken, had ding to do with Deshaun Watson being named the starting quarterback. No, I think this starts with the owner of the Browns, Jimmy Haslam, who has decided to go full-on Jerry Jones mode. You can just make yourself the GM at some point, right? Just do the Jerry Jones thing. Jimmy Haslam has gone full-on GM Jerry Jones mode of, I run this team, my team, I want it my way. As we get into this, I told you yesterday, in this very hour, how we would open the show. I want to revisit these are the words that I left you with 24 hours ago, Laura. The franchise is in disarray because of the ownership and because Cleveland, it has not been a sustainable biome for football life in decades, if ever. Congratulations to the new starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns, Deshaun Watson. Clip this. We can go right back. We'll open the show with it tomorrow because he's going to be announced the starter. It's going to happen, and it's an embarrassment to the National Football League. 3 hours after that clip, Deshaun Watson was announced the starter for the Cleveland Browns. The same Deshaun Watson who was terrible over the weekend of the preseason, the same Deshaun Watson who signed the worst contract in NFL history. I'm going to say history. The same Deshaun Watson who has, sucked as a quarterback in the National Football League ever since he left the confines of Houston, which is just the spur on the boot of Louisiana. Since that day, Deshaun Watson has been bad at everything the Browns have touched involving Deshaun Watson, similar to everything that Jed York touches, human being-wise, has turned to dust. And now Deshaun Watson's the starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. Gross! It's the saddest franchise of all time. And yesterday, after everything that had been evidenced over the course of training camp, after Shedeur Sanders had looked way better than Deshaun Watson at training camp, after Shedeur Sanders looked way better in preseason games, it seemed harder and harder to justify Deshaun Watson, who's a bad quarterback, being the starter when Shedeur Sanders has a much higher ceiling. Deshaun Watson has no ceiling. He's just bad. But I want to give you the case for why I truly believe that Todd Monken, the head coach of the Browns, had nothing to do with this. Why I truly believe that Jimmy Haslam, the owner, is the guy who made this decision. Now, to do this, I want you to follow me. If you trust me for the next 10 minutes, you can take this to the water cooler, give it to your buddies, be a ball knower, have some knowledge, drop it on them. You woke up today in Mission Viejo, California. First thing you do, get in the car, go to the gym. The Drake Toll Show's on Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. And it's going to be a topic of conversation when you show up to work in the tall building about Shedeur Sanders not being named the starter, Deshaun Watson's named the starter, and you need a little extra ammo for the convo. You want to be up to date. I'm going to give that to you. Here's why the owner of the Browns has overstepped. I want to start a year ago. When Shedeur Sanders, in the wake of Deshaun Watson's injury last season, was named the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, Jimmy Haslam was interviewed about this. This is 2025. And he made it pretty clear he doesn't like Shedeur Sanders. But the GM of the Browns, Andrew Berry, is the one ultimately who, at the time, would work with Kevin Stefanski, the head coach, former head coach of the Browns. Those guys, they would name the starting quarterback. Here's Haslam telling you just how hands-off the ownership truly is.
We have good process, okay? And if you'd have told me, let's see, we picked him on Saturday, right? Friday night driving home, y'all are going to pick Shedeur, I would say that's not happening. But we had a conversation early that morning, and then we had a conversation later that day. I think we had the right people involved in the conversation. At the end of the day, that's Andrew Berry's call. Andrew made the call to pick Shedeur. Just like who's going to start or what play we're going to call is Kevin's call. But that's Andrew's call. He made the call.
So a year ago, Haslam told you, no way, no how would I ever have said that Shedeur Sanders could start for this team. No chance. But the GM and the head coach are working together, and they want to do it. They're going to name the guy. They're going to name Shedeur Sanders at the time the starting quarterback. Haslam is the owner. Oh, what we know of owners in the NFL is they should be in East Palestine, Ohio, at the trailer park. They should not be making decisions on who the quarterback is. They should not be saying that, Shedeur could never be the starter. I didn't see it. That was a year ago. What's different today? Kevin Stefanski, one of the guys who helped make that Shedeur decision, has been fired. Andrew Berry, the GM, is on his last leg as a GM. And Jimmy Haslam, I have no doubt, walked through the door yesterday, said, Andrew, you sit there. Todd, you sit there. Andrew, GM, look at Todd Monken. He's the new head coach. You see him? We hired that guy from the Baltimore Ravens. He was the offensive coordinator. And he was so shaky as the OC that at the time he was the OC, John Harbaugh was the head coach of the Ravens. There are rumors that the front office in Baltimore was going to fire John Harbaugh if he didn't fire Todd Monken. Harbaugh stuck his neck out for his guy Monken, got fired himself, and is now with the Giants, leaving Monken on the cutting room floor. Andrew, look across the room. That's Todd Monken in that chair right there. He's the head coach of the Browns. How'd that happen? You took the guy who's going to be fired as an OC, who's never been a head coach in the NFL. You took the guy who's going to be fired as an OC, who's only ever been a head coach at Southern Miss, and we made him our head coach. Andrew, why is Todd Monken the head coach of the Browns? Say it with me. 3, 2, 1. Puppet. Jimmy Haslam went and got a relative no-name from a head coaching standpoint in Todd Monken to sit in the chair in the corner and watch Jimmy Haslam run a franchise. Hey, Todd, you're good over there. I'm the owner. Hey, you, Andrew Berry, no one likes you. You sit in that chair in that corner. Todd Monken, the head coach, you sit in that chair in that corner. I'm the owner, Jimmy Haslam. I'm going to operate how I want to operate. This is my football team now. Last year, you guys all got together and wanted Shedeur Sanders to start. Not happening this time, buddy. My call. My call. That's how I think this whole thing played out. That's what I think's happening in Cleveland. That's what I think's driving Cleveland into the ground. I have further evidence of this. When Todd Monken got to the podium this week, when he got to the podium yesterday to announce his new starter, he sounded dejected as hell. Got a couple clips of his press conference that named Deshaun Watson the starter. Here's what Todd Monken had to say about naming Deshaun QB1.
Deshaun is going to start against Jacksonville. Took in the full body of work over the course of off-season to training camp to the games, the joint practice, and ultimately felt like to start the season on the road, Deshaun gave us the best chance to move the ball and score points. I mean, that's really what it's about. Felt that way going into the last game, but wasn't sure. And after we talked as a staff and after we re-looked at everything, we're going to go that direction.
Two things here. One, what does going on the road have to do with anything? We feel like for Deshaun, because we start the year on the road. Never in the history of the NFL has a coach, a franchise, an entity started a player because their first game was on the road. What would that ever have to do with this? Oh, that's right. Deshaun would get booed relentlessly in Cleveland. Why would he get booed? Because he's bad at football. You're using road games as justification for starting a guy. Doesn't sound like Todd Monken's very excited to start the guy, does it? And then he goes on to say, yeah, going into the preseason, the games this weekend, we felt like for us it was, we were confident he'd be the starter. Then after the game, we all agreed that was still the case. Todd, what do you mean that after the game? What do you mean after the game you thought he was the starter still? Did you watch the game that you coached? The 31-7 loss in the preseason to Buffalo, where Shedeur went 9 for 11, 74 yards, a touchdown and a pick. Deshaun Watson was 5 for 12, 36 yards, and an interception. No points on the board. Shedeur's rating, 87.1. Deshaun Watson's 14.6. You just named that. You want me to believe that you named Deshaun Watson the starting quarterback? No. Wasn't you. And you know what? Even worse, Haslam has a grip on this, not just in the first couple weeks on the road. He has a grip on this the rest of the season. Here's what Todd Monken had to say about Deshaun Watson not even being a week-to-week guy. He's the starting quarterback.
This being a week-by-week thing. Again, I think Shedeur has done a great job, come a long ways, and we're excited about his future. But this is not a week-to-week decision.
The only time he used the word excited in the press conference was talking about Shedeur, by the way. It's not week to week. This is your guy. I'm being forced into it. Sorry, everybody. My bad. The owner wants me to do this. And I'm just the head coach that the owner can control, that the owner can fire in 2 years because I'm Todd Monken. You know, another piece of this, another side of this is Deshaun Watson's the same guy who this weekend, I mean, imagine Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow saying this. He said over the weekend, I'll play all 17 games on the road. I'd rather do that. I'd rather play 17 road games. What? You're the starting quarterback of a franchise, of a city. You represent a city, and your thoughts are, I don't want to play in this city at all. I hate these fans. That guy, he had to walk those comments back, by the way. I had to apologize yesterday. That guy is your starting quarterback? It then begs the question, okay, if this is the case, if the owner wants Deshaun Watson to start, why? It's because they're paying him. It's because they're paying him. It's because they know that one of the worst contracts in NFL history is wrapped up in Deshaun Watson. $230 million, fully guaranteed contract. You give up 3 first-round picks to get Deshaun to Cleveland. You, Jimmy Haslam, helped facilitate one of the worst deals in the history of our beloved league. And with the egg all over your face, you're saying, well, if we're going to pay him, you might as well put him on the football field. The Dolphins didn't do that with Tua. The Cardinals didn't do that with Kyler Murray. They said, shoot, we'll pay you to leave. We want to win. We want to get past this. The Browns don't have that wherewithal. They're riding Deshaun Watson. Let's take it out to the phone line, 310-840-4910. Some people call him Maurice. And he's joining us again from Oakland on Deshaun Watson. Maurice, good morning. You're on the Drake Toll Show again.
Top of the morning to you, boss man. I was calling. I wasn't going to call. I was just listening to it because as a Raider fan, I remember when they were going to trade Deshaun Watson, and I was stupidly like, we need him.
Yeah,
and I'm so glad we figured out as many dumb moves as we make that we did not need him. But my son, I don't know where he went wrong in life. I don't know what happened, but he is the only family member that is a Browns fan. He's 6, and he is an adamant Browns fan. And he heard you talking, and he said, Daddy, that John Watson, I said, it's Deshaun Watson. He said, well, he doesn't deserve to have his name right because he sucks, and he's stupid. He can't even think. So he asked me to call in and let you know his thoughts on that before I dropped him off at the Boys and Girls Club. So
wow.
That's what
Maurice,
I'm sharing.
if you don't mind, what's your son's name?
His name is Silas.
Silas. All right. Always appreciate the phone calls, Maurice. Thanks for calling in again out of Oakland, now by way of Kansas. And Silas, you can tell all the kids, the Boys and Girls Club, that you are spot on. That this morning on the radio, the Drake Toll Show, that they said that you know football, that you've got a wealth of football knowledge when you say that Deshaun Watson is not very good. Because and if you want to back it up, Silas, Deshaun Watson has not thrown for over 1,200 yards since 2020. I mean, come on. He was great, and to Maurice's point here, he was great in Houston, 4,800 yards his last season as a Texan, 33 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. After that comes the fallout. Traded to Cleveland, he's marred in scandal. Okay, last thing I'll leave is Silas, to back your point up again. Since the year 2020, since 2020, Deshaun Watson has played in 19 NFL games, okay? Silas, Sam Darnold played in 20 last year, started in 20. Deshaun Watson, since the year 2020, has played 19 games, all the while being paid by Cleveland, where Drake May and Sam Darnold played 20 games last year alone. It has been a colossal failure, the Deshaun Watson era in Cleveland, but they've already got so much money tied up in him that the owner, Jimmy Haslam, is like, man, I guess maybe I am the idiot for having Deshaun Watson in the fold. Might as well play him, right? 310-840-4910. Phone line, text line still open. You can call as well. 310-840-4910. It is the Drake Toll Show. Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. Can I take you through a brief timeline of Deshaun Watson? Oh. Blockbuster trade. Cleveland gives up 3 first-rounders. $230 million, 5 years guaranteed in his contract. Oops. 24 civil lawsuits alleging sexual misconduct. during massage therapy sessions. Watson in the NFL. Here's the deal. I said it yesterday. I'm going to go right back to it. We don't suspend people 11 games and fine them $5 million because of how innocent they are. Deshaun was suspended 11 games, fined $5 million by the NFL for these alleged sexual misconduct incidents. Then after that, season-ending shoulder surgery, Achilles rupture, same Achilles rupture, and now he's named the starter under Todd Monken for the Browns. Just goes to show the Browns might be lucky to win a game in 2026. What a disaster. For a roster that was trying to build, for a team that wanted to compete in the 2020s with Deshaun Watson as a franchise quarterback, this is what you get. Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. Let's take you from bad news to more bad news. There's a Cleveland Browns player, if you want to stick there, who is going back to college. A Cleveland Browns player who is going back to college to play at LSU. Why? Because Lane Kiffin wants him. More up next with Stephen Willis of Locked On Ole Miss on how Kiffin is ruining college football. This is the Drake Toll Show. know, it was really cool and all when last November we got the whole documentary about how Lane Kiffin had changed. I'm a changed man. I've been rehabilitated. Come to find out, he would leave Ole Miss to go to LSU. A massive stink over him not being able to coach in the college football playoff. And since he got to LSU, has done everything possible to tear down Oxford, Mississippi, to tear down Ole Miss as an institution. And now he's gone further to try to tear down college football by signing former Ole Miss players who are now in the, let me make sure that's not a typo. I just want to make sure I've got it. Yeah. Who are now in the NFL. That's right. Lane Kiffin is signing players from the National Football League to play with him at LSU. How did we get here? And how does a guy who's got a whole documentary about how I've changed, I'm a changed man, how does that guy lead to the death of college football as we know it, the death of amateurism in college football as we know it? Here's a guy who covered Lane Kiffin so closely for years. He's the host of Locked On Ole Miss. Stephen Willis joins the Drake Toll Show. Willis, appreciate you being up early with us. And I don't think there's anybody better in the world to talk about how Lane Kiffin, snake in the grass, has continued to disparage college football and has done so ever since he left Ole Miss. This is another feather in that hat. Has Lane Kiffin gone too far by signing NFL players to his LSU roster?
Oh, he absolutely has. We have gone through a situation to where when you go to the NFL, you forego your eligibility. So this 5 for 5 nonsense, that's the argument, is just that, nonsense. And also, we'll just add this to the fire. If Arian Carter at Tennessee got a 2-game suspension for $429 that he paid back, what's Daquan Wright going to get for a $20,000 signing bonus? It's absolutely ridiculous, and it's one of those things where you probably thought, well, maybe we can do it, but nobody thought, should we do it? Because the kids are going to be available. If they're not going to make an NFL roster, they'd like a second chance. They'd like a do-over. They'd like to hedge that bet. And the coaches would like players that are on the cusp of making an NFL roster on their roster. But this opens up a Pandora's box, and don't listen to anybody that says, oh, this is a one-time only thing. No, this is going to happen each and every year if it's allowed to continue.
You know, the direct quote from Kiffin yesterday was, at the end of the day, because of rulings, they're either going to play for you or they're going to play for someone else around the country. He didn't even justify this as something that's good for college football or helps the kids. He justified it by saying, well, if not me, surely someone else would have done something shady and immoral. I don't even think the justification, Willis, from Kiffin is fair in this case.
No, and look the court that it came from. It was a court in Baton Rouge. Now, I can't prove it. Nobody's going to talk about it. But he set all of this up. He put the wheels of motion in this all ready to go so they could do this. They filed it 2 weeks before the season started, so there would be a time crunch on this situation. This is intentional. You're dealing with a rogue program right now inside the SEC. The SEC presidents and commissioner are going to have to deal with a rogue program because you have professional players being recruited to the football team. And don't forget, yesterday, R.J. Louise, who got traded in the NBA, got a injunction to play for LSU for Will Wade in the basketball team. This is all over. Jay Johnson in baseball must be looking around saying, where am I? It's crazy. But it's one of those things that's absolutely weird, and it's going to be imperative on the Southeastern Conference. You want to do self-governance? Is that the buzzword that we've been hearing for a year, self-governance? Fine. Prove it. Do something. I think this is eventually going to take the timeline that Brendan Sorsby took at Texas Tech. I think this is a similar level case to what Brendan Sorsby did. One might have been gambling, but this is the same other red line that you just can't cross. The SEC has to put this down right now. And they need to make it clear to LSU or whatever, this is not going to stand. And if you continue to push it, we have the nuclear option at our disposal, and that is we'll remove you from the membership. And if you want to keep pushing it to that, push it.
I mean to cut you off there. Stephen Willis, Locked On Ole Miss, who is bringing the heat this morning on former Ole Miss tight end Daquan Wright, who is now joining Lane Kiffin at LSU after Wright had already played through spring training, or through training camp, I should say, with the Cleveland Browns, NFL players that are making their way back to college athletics and doing it via Lane Kiffin. And Willis, again, you covered this guy for a long time, and I felt like Kiffin, come to think of it, while I thought Kiffin was playing nice, playing by the rules at Ole Miss more so than usual, the FBI just came back in to get their microphones back. They just removed all their bugs from the office. But it's Xavier Harris is another name, Ole Miss guy, defensive lineman, who is in the NFL with the New Orleans Saints earlier this month. Now he's going to LSU as well. Multiple former Ole Miss players, Kiffin players, that are following Kiffin from the National Football League to LSU. And to what you just noted about the SEC, they put out the statement yesterday from the presidents and chancellors said, quote, that you should not be permitted to return to college competition if you sign professional contracts. Willis, you're on the nose here, though. Where the Big 12 sued Texas Tech over Brendan Sorsby and his gambling scandal, and now Sorsby will not play quarterback for the Red Raiders, the SEC says, well, you shouldn't be able to do this. Are you surprised Sankey has not come out and blatantly said, you cannot do this? We are against LSU's actions.
No, I'm not. I think that's an extremely strong statement because this is the reality. This is setting up a fight that the SEC has to have because of the Charles Stediaco thing that happened earlier with Alabama. The membership is expecting that same level of pressure on LSU, and especially now that is happening over and over again. But since this is a member school, they are going to give them every off-ramp to make this right before they keep going, escalate each and every time. They're going to handle that because of the membership internally, all 16 teams, and also the relationship that could be happening there. Now, if it goes past the point of no return, it goes past the point of no return. But I do genuinely think the SEC is going to try to, I guess, bring LSU to their senses. But whenever you bring in Lane Kiffin, Will Wade, Rick Stansberry, all of those guys on your coaching staff, it's pretty obvious what you were planning to do. So they may be pretty dug in at this point.
Other big news, and I alluded to this a second ago out of Ole Miss, Pete Golding's comments about the FBI coming in to from the remnants of the Kiffin era, check for their bugs. Go ahead and grab these microphones back. Thanks, guys. Good to see you. What is the latest on the FBI's involvement with Ole Miss in the wake of Lane Kiffin leaving now nearly a year ago?
Yeah, Pete Golding talked about that yesterday, which I do think the FBI swept for bugs. I do not think it was a thing where you called a field office and it was an official thing. I think it was just a parent of a kid that was going around looking, doing them a solid.
Yep.
So, yes, I think it happened, but I don't think it was as serious as it was originally let on. And real quick, I do want to point this out because I forgot to say it a little bit earlier. Do you remember in 2024 when the story about Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss was faking injuries?
Yeah, of course.
And the whole country was crazy because Lane Kiffin was building the rules about that. Do you know how that stopped? He did not get one called against LSU for holding in that game. Ole Miss had the top defensive line in the country, top sacks in the country, top tackles for loss, not one holding call against LSU. At that point, that was the officials fighting back against the faking of injuries, and then it went away, and it was gone. And then they made the rule at the end of the year. But the point is the only way to stop this guy from doing whatever he's doing is to be forceful. And if you're not, he's going to keep pushing the envelope.
It is Stephen Willis, Locked on Ole Miss, who covered Kiffin's tenure with the Rebels and has now covered multiple former Ole Miss players who went to the NFL and will join Kiffin at LSU this year thanks to an injunction from Louisiana court. Willis joining the Drake Toll Show, Westwood One Sports, and the Westwood One Sports app. Willis, last thing I got for you on this whole deal. Lane Kiffin, we've just opened up our Los Angeles audience as well, so plenty of USC fans who are familiar with this guy and his antics, and plenty of those who are Raiders fans, just the same, who are familiar with Kiffin and his antics. Those at LSU, Ole Miss, across college football, who are aware of Kiffin's controversies he's been marred in over the course of his career. All of that suffice to say, you've been around or worked around or covered the guy for years. What is Lane Kiffin's future in college athletics? Because this guy just can't keep getting away with this.
I think after the Ole Miss thing, and now especially, I think this is the last stop. And the danger is whenever somebody like that knows it's the last stop, it's probably going to be the most extreme stop. And like I said, if the SEC doesn't step up and put a stop to this, like forcefully put a stop to this, there will just be another way to try and find to get around it. So the SEC has the advantage over the NCAA because the NCAA has antitrust issues. If they do something, they basically own college football. They have to deal with that. The SEC doesn't because it's only 16 teams. If they make a decision that says, hey, you can't play in our league, that doesn't mean you can't play in the Big 12. So I think that button needs to be looked at. They need to look at the fact that Aaron Carter got 2 games suspension from the NCAA for $429. All of that. They need to find a way to be creative to make sure that none of these guys step on the field for one single step. And if they do, you end up forfeiting the game and they make an example out of you. But that's my feelings because college football is special. It's something we look forward to every year. It's not winning is everything. And if it gets to that point, which it's doing, that's going to be a problem.
He covers the Ole Miss Rebels at Locked On Ole Miss at the Stephen Willis on Twitter. You can follow his college football coverage. And in the wake of a couple of Ole Miss players turned NFL players turned LSU Tigers, Willis has been all over the scoop. Stephen, appreciate your time up early with us this morning and look forward to listening to the rest of your coverage on Locked On Ole Miss this week.
All right. Thank you, bud.
Yeah, it is. It's a weird time we live in, huh? Where do you remember if you are a USC fan? This relates to Kiffin out of the USC out of the USC arc here. Remember back to when Kiffin was a member of the Trojans coaching staff and was left on the tarmac. And that same what's wild about college football too is that same institution, the same university, those same 3 letters, USC, once harbored a Heisman Trophy winner who forfeited his Heisman Trophy because of a couple $1,000s that Reggie Bush made on selling memorabilia. Like, we were so upset with Reggie Bush selling some autographs. His Heisman Trophy was revoked. And then he didn't get it back until 14 years later. Now in college football, you can play in the NFL and then go back to college football. We've got it so backwards. And this story blurs the lines between college and the NFL as these players, and it makes no sense, are given the opportunity to go from the Cleveland Browns or to go from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the New Orleans Saints and go back and play college football. It should be period, full stop. You are unable to, disallowed from doing so. 310-840-4910. The phone lines, the text lines are open. 310-840-4910. And the SEC statement of, we don't think this should be allowed. We don't think the professionals should be able to play college football. Okay. Don't tell me what you think about this. Do something about it. The Southeastern Conference didn't say, unequivocally, you cannot do this. It's not allowed. We're not allowing you to compete in college football in our conference with former professionals on your team. Nope. No, instead the SEC said, we don't think you should do this. But we're not going to stop it. We're not going to let you do it. The SEC is skirting around this too much and should put an end to former Cleveland Browns, former Tampa Bay Buccaneers, former New Orleans Saints who will play college football for LSU next season. It is pitiful what the sport has turned into. This is Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Again, the phone lines, text lines still open, 310-840-4910. An owner in the National Football League arrested for soliciting a prostitute in East Palestine, Ohio. Does this mean the 49ers have to sell the team? That's up next. This is the Drake Toll Show.
got a sweet little body and she's rolling in the caddy with me.
An NFL owner who is soliciting prostitutes in East Palestine, Ohio, has sent shockwaves to the National Football League as over the weekend, Jed York was arrested after showing up to a trailer park to pay $140, all this still alleged, to a prostitute. Turns out that prostitute was the government, the law. They were just law enforcement. And now he has pleaded no contest to a pair of misdemeanor charges after the arrest. According to Columbiana County, Ohio court records obtained by ESPN, York allegedly responded to an undercover ad on a known prostitution website and arranged to have sexual activity with a female in exchange for $140. It doesn't say a female. It says the female. It's like the one gal in East Palestine, Ohio. Like, oh, yeah, that's the one. The female. He was arrested upon arriving. His cell phone was confiscated. It happened on Sunday at 9:35 a.m. at the Wheat Hill Mobile Home Community Center. At a mobile home community, 9:35 a.m. on a Sunday. I'm in there praising God. I saw the light. Amen. And Jed York, the owner of the 49ers, is in a mobile home community. Is Cherry Maraschino here? I have the cash. I'll pay good money for the thing. We can do it right now, me and you. Sir, we'll stop you right there. We're the police. What? I'm here to see Cherry Maraschino. You see how this looks, right? Addie is on the opposite side of the aisle here. She is somehow pro-prostitution and thinks that it, as an industry in the U.S., it is something that people can garner money from as long as it's not trafficking. A lot to unpack with that. Don't have all the time in the world for it. But I guess a bigger question we haven't gotten to quite yet. Do you think this changes, number one, the 49ers ownership at all? Will he have to sell the team? Number two, does it affect the actual, I can't blame the electrical substation for this. Does it affect the gameplay at all this year? Is it a distraction for the team?
Did it affect Robert Kraft?
No.
And I think that York can do one thing that'll just make us all forget about this. I say we move the 49ers practice field away from the substation.
It's fair trade. Fair trade. You get caught with a prostitute. We'll let bygones be bygones there, big cat. Just move the facility away from the electrical substation. Don't hate it. It's the Drake Toll Show, Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app, 310-840-4910. Let's take you to the phone line and take you to Memphis. Wendell from Memphis. Dog, I don't know if you've ever been to the Southland Casino Hotel in West Memphis, the all-you-can-eat crab legs. Really good.
Oh, yeah.
No free ads, but really good. Wendell, good morning. You're on the Drake Toll Show.
Oh, yeah. I've been to Southland before.
Amen. Amen.
You know, I called in. I had a connection between two of your stories. Now I got a connection between three of your stories.
Hit me, man. Hit me with it.
This whole trailer park thing, I think that's only a misdemeanor. I'm not sure about Ohio, but
that's right.
But this Jimmy Haslam, when he was applying to purchase the Cleveland Browns, he was charged with a felony. I think it cost him about $90 million to get out of that one in court. No telling how much he had to pay out of court to get out of that one. But it was a big racketeering or something like that. Terrible charge for meddling with points and stuff like that on credit cards with his Flying J and Pilot truck stops.
Yeah, it was 2014. Former employees of the truck stop company, the Flying J, had sued Jimmy Haslam and the Tennessee governor. Yeah, that was all federal, and they entered plea deals.
Yeah, his brother was governor. And he was also at the time meddling with the UT Tennessee athletic department. He had a little boy named John Curry as athletic director, gave him about $10 million so he could be the coach of the Tennessee Vols. He ran Phil Fulmer out of town and hired a guy named Lane Kiffin. So there's your three stories all into one.
Wendell, I appreciate the phone call. Thanks for listening every day, my friend.
All right.
Yep, there you go. We've now connected the prostitution guy to the other owner who also did a bad thing, Jimmy Haslam. His wasn't prostitution. His was, and Wendell's actually spot on here, $92 million. That this is from NFL.com, 2014. Haslam agreed to pay $92 million in fines for cheating customers out of promised rebates and discounts. Still owns the Browns. And then Haslam connected to the Tennessee Athletic Department and head coach Lane Kiffin. It all works together in one big NFL college football conspiracy theory. And I could see a guy like Haslam running with a guy like Lane Kiffin. Let's keep it in the phone lines. 310-840-4910. Appreciate you. Wendell, let's go to Dickens, Oakdale. You're on the Drake Toll Show. We talking some Jed here?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that Addy sounds like a hot piece of ass. Thank you.
Okay, that didn't need that. Drop that one. And we'll move it straight on. It is the Drake Toll Show, Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Jed York, prostitution in Ohio is the charge. And also to Wendell's point, 2 misdemeanors, not a felony, 2 misdemeanors in the case for York. Now, will it affect the 49ers? Not on the idea that they'll have to sell. To Addy's point there as well, we saw this in New England in 2019 with their owner, Robert Kraft. He was charged in Florida with 2 counts, misdemeanor, of soliciting prostitutes in a massive multi-county law enforcement sting, day spas, human trafficking networks. Guess who still owns the Patriots? Robert Kraft. Owner scandals go further. Wendell brought it up. The $92 million for Jimmy Haslam, who owns the Browns. Or Jim Irsay in 2014. Pulled over by police in Indiana, found with multiple prescription drugs, large amounts of cash, leading to charges of driving under the influence, felony possession of controlled substances. We've seen this before. What will happen for the Niners? What will happen for York? It's wild. You know what happens for me? And maybe this is a lesson to the world. You know what happens for me if I try to pay $140 for a prostitute in East Palestine, Ohio, which I would not? What happens to me is I get fired from the radio job. No more Savannah Bananas. No more Locked On. I'm going to have to answer to the long arm of the law and my bosses. But when you own an NFL team, I would be surprised at this point if the National Football League brings any charges. If the National Football League brings a fine, brings a punishment on York. We're just going to let this one fly by. Man, and by the way, I've quad boxed, okay? I've been watching every other national show today. Morning show across the country on TV, radio shows, TV shows that cover sports on major networks. Nobody wants to touch it. Nobody wants to touch the York deal. They don't want, this is just, we'll let it slide. We always let it slide. If you want to get away with stuff, be the rich guy who plays in the NFL. Be the rich guy who's an NFL head coach. Be the rich guy who owns an NFL franchise. Still the Drake Toll Show. Westwood One Sports, 310-840-4910. Phone line, text line are open. It is Tuesday, so it's time for today's Dead or Alive. Addy Bates produces. Laura Jimenez runs the board. Are these people dead or are they alive today? Addy, first one goes to you. Dead or alive? Sean Connery.
Dead.
Oh, yeah, dead.
Okay, thank you, Laura. He is dead. Yeah, Sean Connery died in 2020 at the age of 90. He would have been 96 today. Happy birthday from the grave. Dead or alive? Leonard Bernstein. Laura Bernstein, composer, West Side Story.
Is he alive?
Oh, Addy?
Dead.
Dead. Yeah, he died in 1990, Laura. So you've got to catch on the news there. Yeah, it's been 36
well, I
years.
was not alive.
He would be 108 years old today. There you go. Dead or alive, Addy? We'll keep it in, music adjacent. Elvis Costello, dead or alive?
Radio. Radio. Alive.
I would have told you so confidently that he's dead. Laura?
Yeah, I was going to say dead, no, but she said alive, so I'm going to trust her.
She said alive. She was very confident. She's correct. Elvis Costello is 72 years old. Happy birthday to Elvis Costello. Dead or alive? Laura. Tom Skerritt, actor from Alien, Top Gun, Steel Magnolias,
Dead.
MASH. Okay.
Dead.
Okay. Addie?
I'll kill him.
93 years old. Tom's listening today.
Oh.
From his West Hollywood Hills home. He is very, very alive.
Oopsie.
And you both tried to kill him off.
You said MASH. I was like, whoa.
Blair Underwood,
Oh.
the actor from L.A. Law, played Jonathan Rollins in L.A. Law for 8 years. Addie, dead or alive?
Dead.
Laura?
Alive?
Alive. Laura's within 1 point. One of the worst people to ever exist, George Wallace, former governor of Alabama. Laura, dead or alive?
Alive.
Addie?
Wasn't he shot? Isn't he dead?
He's very dead. I don't know if
Well-
George Wallace was shot.
Just because you're shot don't mean you're dead.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. I don't think he was shot, but he was really racist, which we shouldn't do, and I've been telling people don't do that.
No, he died from septic shock.
Septic shock. Addie Bates produces. Laura Jimenez runs the board. Armin Williams, Colin Jones, Ryan McGuire, Bruce Gilbert. Thank you for a job. We'll see you tomorrow morning. In the meantime, You Better You Bet's coming up, or your local programming. This has been and always will be. Love ya. Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app, and the Drake Toll Show.